Hey everybody, welcome aboard another Tommy Williams show. It's the Tommy Williams show. Thank you so much for joining me for another amazing episode, if I might say so myself. We will be having two guests. I told you the format the first time we got together, and the two guests tonight will be, or today, depending on where you are. The first guest is going to be Stephen McCoy. Stephen McCoy actually has a story. He has quite a story. He's been battling with some ailments and some things medically, and then he actually caught COVID, and he has been he wants to share his testimony with you as well. Steve and I met on my YouTube channel, which is actually the Tommy Williams, or no, it's Tommy Williams channel, or channel Tommy Williams. We'll get it right and we'll get it to you. Anyway, it has a pink T, so don't confuse me with anybody else, please. Anyway, Stephen's gonna be my first guest, and I'm gonna let him do more talking about who he is and what he's been battling and all like that. He's a great guy. So let's give a round of applause for Stephen McCoy. Like the shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Loving the shirt. My wife would love that. Black Journalists Matter.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you're in New Jersey, right?
I am in New Jersey.
Yeah. Have you heard of NABJ? 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 National Association of Black Journalists?
Yes.
Yeah. My wife.
Yes.
Yeah. She used to be involved with them, years ago. And I remember that was one acronym that she made sure she was like, I did used to be involved with the NABJ, but quite a conversation piece. Good to have you, Stephen.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Stephen's been awesome. He's been following me through COVID. Stephen, were you there with me when I was going through COVID as well?
I was. Was recording on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. So that was
early process.
That was my spark, ladies and gentlemen. That got me all into wanting to be involved with COVID and this whole big pandemic and the misconceptions and things. And so let's dig right in. So Stephen, tell us a little something about yourself, and you can go as deep as you want, and then I'll go ahead and haunt you with my questions.
Well, yes, I am. I'm a journalist, and I write and conduct interviews and host various events, and it's something that I love. A lot of people are just recently finding out that I'm legally blind, and I've always, since the age of 7, I would say, I think it maybe even 6, is when I started wearing hearing aids. Now, I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, which is a rare eye disease that also affects your hearing, which is called Usher syndrome. So as time goes on, it just gets a little worse and worse, but I'm still striving, and I'm so happy to be here, to be able to tell my story, and I plan to continue for as long as I could. So
sure, absolutely, and that'll be a very, 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 very. So where did I get that spin? Many, right? Many. Very, very. So listen, I just want to say this to you, first of all, because a lot of times when you know that people have would you consider it a handicap? First of all, is it a handicap?
I would not. I won't.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't want. Of course, no one, everyone. When it comes to that word, it is. Everyone is always like,
It's so debilitating.
Right.
It's such a dig. Let me tell you, what I was going to say is, you have very, very, how do I say it? You have very pretty eyes. You have handsome eyes. Your the facial structure. Then of course so that leads me into your eyes. So it's not in the eyes, folks. Blindness does not make a person look a certain type of way. You can't spot it. And so that's one thing that I'm learning. You learn as we go. And so great eyes, and not only that, but you have great diction. So, I noticed your enunciation and your pronunciation of words and things is fantastic. Probably
Thank
goes
you.
along with that big smile you have and wide mouth, which is
Thank
great.
you so much,
Because you know
Tommy.
what, and therefore, the audio, because you think of, the speech dealing with the hearing, and I've been in education for some time, and my mom as well. She's actually has orchestrated us to kind of pick up on certain tendencies and be around a lot of people. So I've been around deaf, and I've been around blind, and I actually work with special needs, as does my wife. And I actually taught quite a few blind persons to people to swim. So I wanted to say that that's a misconception of
Yeah,
blindness and deafness. Now,
absolutely.
so now we're in a pandemic, and how do you find yourself coping or dealing with the pandemic? Well, talk about leading into the pandemic, because I want to kind of walk into this whole situation. So, what was life
Mm.
like prior to, and then what were you doing employment-wise, and then and how did things scaffold down or scaffold
Hmm.
up once pandemic hit?
Well, Tommy, well, I own my own media company, Spoken Entertainment, and it was pretty much a bit of a, I didn't know where I was going to fit in this new virtual world because I've always, but as I know it, to go to from red carpet to red carpet, interview to interview, this was all new to me. And especially since I'm not a journalist that is with mainstream such as Entertainment Tonight or Extra or Access Hollywood. I'm not. It's just me. So
Yeah,
that's the way that I know how to make my living, and it was very hard because then the emails, pretty much all of what I had planned for 2020, canceled. Let's
wow,
reschedule for next year,
yeah,
and it was just like,
yeah,
oh no, what's going on with it. So we're all literally, if you heard the hashtag alone together, that's
wow,
literally, we were all in it together and we're
that's
all
deep.
figuring
Yeah.
it out.
Hmm.
So it was leading into the pandemic. It was really, it was scary because I actually became someone who caught the COVID. I had the coronavirus and I almost died. I almost lost my
Wow.
life. And it was extremely scary because it got to a point like I was getting sick. I was very sick and I didn't want to go. I'm a little stubborn and I always felt like I could thug it out a little bit. I could shrug it off, and it was just getting bad and bad. And my family, they were even mad at me because I was not going to the hospital. But it took for me not to be able to breathe to have to be rushed to the hospital. And I
Wow.
just remember when I was there, I was taking off all of my clothes. I was hot, I was overheated, I couldn't breathe. So I'm grasping for everything. And literally it's water there. I'm pouring water all over myself. It was very scary. Very scary. And I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
wish that on anyone. So
yeah.
it was the
So
scariest
I
thing.
have, I have two for you. First one is, do you live alone?
I do. Yeah.
So that's something, because when you mention going through symptoms, because COVID is one thing, but it's the symptoms that are either the killer
Yeah.
or the just uncomfortable situation that you're left with. So,
Hmm.
or not necessarily left with, because then that would be the long hauler, which, folks, there's also long haulers, and that will be the topic on our next show. There's so many facets to COVID. But back to this. So you live alone, and the other thing is, um, what were the symptoms, or what was your precautionary measures? Were your precautionary measures prior to um, contracting COVID? I mean, were you masked up? Were you gloved up? Did you take this whole pandemic seriously? What do you think um, transpired to have you contract this virus?
I did. I did take it serious, but it not as serious to when when you get it. It's definitely because all I knew was I started hearing about the coronavirus through resources, and it's being, we're getting more and more information. Then we're seeing this person has it, that person. Then next thing you know, it's getting closer and closer and closer. Then my mother has it, and then me. You know what I mean? So it was getting closer and closer, and that caused just a whole bunch of anxiety. But I was taking precaution by wearing my mask, by wearing my gloves, also the sanitizer. I did mostly everything that I felt that I could do. But again, when you do have such a big family, I'm used to being around my family. So of course we had to be distant, but it would be a situation where, I'm running to my mother's house to, drop something off, or maybe she wants, if I'm sick, she's gonna run over and bring me some tea or something like that. And then she's like, give your mother a hug, like, and I'm like, I just don't want to get you fit, but here we go, and that's pretty much how.
And there you go. And again, pre-COVID, you're, of course, you don't have your guard up as much as you do when you're going. Number one, when you're going through it, and then when you get over it. But then a lot of times, did you meet with your primary physician as you were going through this? I mean, I know that you said you went gone to the emergency room or you go to the hospital, and of course they tried to treat you there and get you at least comfortable so that you can return home and deal with it yourself.
Yeah,
because that's unfortunately that's the way it is, because they got to free up beds, they have to free up space, they have to free up everything is just dealing with population and overload.
And Tommy, when I tell you it was a scary experience, I mean, because as I'm in the house, I'm seeing the person that's next to me that they're trying to, bring back to life. So it was just such a traumatizing experience.
Oh wow! So you got different ends of the spectrum while you were in there, so that really helped out a lot. Not right. So okay, so did you so let's talk about some of the symptoms that you had and some of the means of treatment that you had used in order to combat COVID.
Yes. Well, I mean, I had the cough. Oh, the cough was extremely bad. Of course, the runny nose. It was the chills, everything. I just felt awful, and it was my stomach was very like tightening and gassy. I remember it was just. But what they did was they treated me with nausea medication. It was some other medication that they prescribed me. Forgot the name of it, but also something for the cough. I was taking about 3 different medications every day, in addition to Tylenol. Now, I wouldn't suggest this because this was just did my doctor prescribe me that? I just know I was taking Tylenol every 4 hours. So I literally had on a reminder on my phone to take the Tylenol in addition to the medication that I was prescribed. I was taking Tylenol every 4 hours, around the clock, even at midnight, everything. And so that was a lot of medication.
That was for the body aches?
For the body aches, the headache. Even I've had asthma when I was younger, but I don't feel like it was affecting me as much. But then, this, oh my God, that's when I really could not breathe. They had to put the asthma machine. I had to take that. Yeah,
wow,
it was a lot.
So I hadn't heard you mention fever. Did you have a temperature?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you did.
That's when my family was saying that I need to go to the hospital, but I just did not want to. I was very tired. I felt very tired. I didn't feel like going to the hospital. Yeah.
So there's some key signs that you can look for, folks who may not have had COVID. then congratulations, and you make sure that you don't wait until you're on this side of the lens to take things seriously and begin to really tighten up your arsenal against COVID. So, you know, that's the one thing. The other thing is that, you know, you want to make sure you read. There's lots of literature, there's lots of programs. I mean, the numbers are going up. Here's my show as well, naturally, to gain an understanding. Asymptomatic is something that I dealt with, you know, so that's something that I actually had to go through. So my testimony is a little different. I didn't have a temperature, and so I was welcomed everywhere. Boop, you're good. Come on in. Okay. Boom. This is a weird sore throat I have, you know. Meanwhile, I don't know what the throat is. Maybe it's because I was running, or maybe because the season's changing, or maybe I'm just becoming allergic to something, pollen or something weird. So, and then hence you become a super spreader, you know, because you don't know the signs and you're just out amongst the public, and meanwhile you're carrying COVID. So then in terms of, okay, so I was going someplace with the primary physician. So once you got out of the hospital, you worked with a primary physician. You had a doctor. Did you alerted your doctor as well?
I did.
Your own
I did. My own personal doctor, and basically I could not come in person. They wanted me to quarantine. They gave me the hospital prescribed me with the medication. It was another medication that my doctor prescribed to me. But I had the help of my mother to still drop it at my door or something like that. Although I told you guys that my mother had the COVID, but she got over it by the time that I was really, really getting sick. So, it was really crazy. And, you know, you just reminded me, going back to those first moments, like you said, it started with a cough. It started with a dry cough. And I just remember, I'm like, like, I don't know, it just could not stop. It was very froggy. Like, Please get tested. So, everybody continue to get tested.
Please get tested, and please link up also with your primary physician, because I think that's primary physician's good for the timeline, right? Because I know my primary physician was like, okay, so when did you get it? And let's come. Then also, it's just good to have a medical confidant, you know, somebody to just go to as a source, you know, because you feel so alone when you're going through it. You know why? Because nothing is proven. There's no remedy. There's no, you know, remedy for the symptoms, but there's, you know, COVID's still out there. We don't have, the vaccine is here, which I'm going to leave for in a second, but you know, the vaccine's, but you know what? I know when I had it and when you had it, they didn't have anything in the makings, you know, and that was just, you know, not too long ago for me. And so it's like, you're alone and you need some people around you that are qualified to at least give you the up to the minute as per where modern medicine is now. And that was then. The other thing is that when you were on the other side of it, now did you walk away with any talk about long haulers? Long haulers, folks, are people who have the symptoms either long beyond or, you know, post COVID. So, you know, did you have any conditions after COVID?
No, everything I reverted back healthy, and even more healthy now than I was prior to catching COVID. And but you know, that's one thing I thought, because I did like a lot of other people may pride themselves on taking care of themselves. But it's definitely something a little bit different after COVID, you know. But you know, we're not exempt from catching the virus just because, you know, we eat great and, you know, we clean ourselves great or whatever. It can happen to you.
Absolutely, and it did happen to me. And you know, no, that's right. You didn't know me prior to, but I've been swimming. I'm getting ready to swim after I finish today. Swim, surf, bicycle ride, run. Do it all. Tommy, do it all Williams. And you know what? It's not that I didn't think that I could catch it. It's just that, you know, I thought that, you know, the symptoms wouldn't take me out the way they did, but they had me crawling around the floor and acting up. And my wife had the symptoms, but she didn't have them so bad. But she couldn't connect to what my symptoms. So she was always like, kind of like, what's wrong? Almost like a what's wrong with you thing. But then after a while, she understood that, there's different phases, there's different spectrums, ends of the spectrum, and I had it bad. So, but
And did you guys have to sleep in separate rooms?
Yes, yeah. Well, you know what? I guess if we both had it, we probably could have just been like coughing on each other. I mean, we had the doggone thing. But you know what?
I mean,
we did quarantine, and you know what? This whole quarantine, and that's the whole other session of one of these shows, is it'll be the mental health. I mean, my wife and I've been together for 21 years, 20 years, I think, two years, something like that, 22 years, and so it's like, you go through enough quarantining, you have to be around each other. It's like, come on now. All right. So so the separate bedrooms, kind of a luxury. I'll tell you, it was like I had my own little area. And you know what? When we got over it, or after I got my first test, I said, you know what? No, she said it to me, actually. She said she got her first test, and she said, you know what? Let's just stay separate and get a couple of more tests and be sure. I was like, how many tests? She said, I don't know, as many as it takes. And I'm like, this is, I think you're kind of pushing it. You just like being away from me. But I think that, the mental health of it all and everything, I mean, life has changed for everybody. And, I really do feel as though, from your standpoint and your sharing, having other situations, and you're definitely not handicaps, because I definitely don't see you as a person who's debilitated or going through much of anything. You look healthy, you seem healthy, you're a great speaker, and you carry yourself phenomenally. And I'm looking forward to actually moving forward with our relationship, online. And as soon as things clear up, who knows, might catch a flight and come back to dirty Jersey. And see, you're from Jersey too,
Not dirty
so,
Jersey, really?
Yeah, dirty Jersey. So,
Brick
I
City.
miss hometown. Yeah, Brick City. So, so thanks, Stephen, for coming on. It's been fantastic and a delight.
Thank you.
I really do it very. Yeah.
I just wanted to say my heart goes out to you and your family once again.
Thank you so
I
much.
know it has not been easy, and that's the reason why I was definitely, I'm like, yes, I'll be on the show, sure, because the thing is, your mom, she did a lot of work for people with disabilities. And the same with me, if I'm honest, when I first started out, I was doing a whole bunch of internships, but imagine all the way up until last year, keeping silent of my disability. That means from maybe like, having to ask people to repeat themselves, but like, wait, what? You just playing it off, and then not being able to see as well as others. And seriously, it's almost, I'm finally just owning up to me, and when these are the things that are part of me, and I have nothing else to say but the truth. And
Yes.
Thankfully for people like your mother, to allow people, to make people feel that they can do things. I think that's so important. We have to obviate those narratives, those false narratives that people with disabilities cannot perform at a higher level, and we can. So I want to say thank you so much, Tommy, for having me on the show.
It's been fantastic, and God bless you, and all the best to you. We'll see each other soon, okay?
Yes,
you take
we
care,
will.
and thanks again for
Thank
coming
you.
on the Tommy Williams Show.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So everybody, I have my second guest coming on. Wow, huh? So here we are, and you know what? I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself, and then we're to dig right in.
Hi, I am Chronicle Speaks. I have a gossip YouTube, and I am happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Chronicle Speaks. Yeah, so I'll tell you, it's been really great having a diverse group of people come on to my show and things like that. It's a super platform. I'm so happy that that actually, it's like I'm almost kind of excited about all that COVID has presented, because it has you to kind of revert back and think back into yourself and what type of skills you have, where you can line yourself up, how you can be best suited for the world, because we have to leave an imprint. We'd like to leave an imprint, And so much has shifted with regard to myself. I know that I had a guest just now, and legally blind, Stephen, and also deaf, partially deaf. And I'll tell you, you learn so much from the guests. So now you're a blogger,
Right.
and I didn't know a thing about blogging until actually I got involved with this. And naturally, everybody, I mean, I know I don't throw a whole slew of pictures up, and I feel horrible because today was the day I was supposed to get pictures up of my mom and have her all. And I say that because I see your pictures in the background, beautiful images. And I really I feel like almost I gave my mom a disservice by not having her up. But you know what? She is all the way through me. Like this energy and everything like that is definitely my mom. So moving forward, COVID has caused a big shift in the world globally, and I know that blogging, from what I've gathered, and what's how I've been affected so far, because I was actually blogged, and I was like, oh, because it was like somebody pinched me, and it's like, oh, because I was just sitting there doing my own thing, living my life, thinking that okay, I'm gonna do my videos and stuff, and I've got some people following and giving me hype me up, like yeah, you the shit. But you know what? Then I had a moment where it's like, so people, I'm watching a plane go over my head right now, and if I saw a chopper, that would be more or less like a blogger. They kind of hover around, they kind of hover around. And they're detectives, and they sniff out certain things that they feel as though the people are going to buy into, you know what I mean? They just kind of, perpetuates the drama or the movement of the universe. And I could dig it. I could dig it. I think that, it kind of keeps people on their toes. It definitely got me on my toes early. Like, and I get on now, I'm like, okay, let me stay 4 words at least ahead of what I'm about to say, because I know that I got some folks above hovering and sniffing.
Right. That's what we do.
That's what you all do. I know, I see it. And one thing that I can say, everybody, is they're also human. And so I met Chronicle Speaks. I introduced myself because she had actually, naturally, my sister's been in media for a long, long time. Media has been chopping her up for a long, long time, and she's growing back like a weed. I mean, that's the best thing that's the best way I could describe my sister, is that the Wendy Williams show. Wendy Williams, she is she's a fighter, and she has a platform of, it's love hate. Either you love me or you don't. And also, the gossip exudes out of the pores of her, and also of her viewers. So it's like, you know what? If you say I hate that woman, guess what? You're still giving mega life to her. Or if you say I love her, guess what? That might even be a short life you give her, because then it's like, and what else?
Right.
What do you love about her? When you hate somebody, you know why you hate somebody. You're like, I hate him because this and that, or maybe you don't. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Myself, I'd rather people like me, because I'm new to this. My shtick isn't gossip. I really like to help out the fellow man, and I'm like kind of like the kumbaya type. Let's all just get along. So will that sell? I think during the pandemic, it's important, it's needed. Whether it sells or not, I could care less. I got a day job, and I have another angel up there with my mom and everybody else who's preceded her, who watches, and they really expect me to keep on doing what I do best, which is caring about people. But let's get back to us. And I start talking. I told you.
That's one thing I like about your spirit. Just listening to you talk, I can hear you talk all day. Like, I just love your spirit. You're so upbeat. Even with what you have going on right now, you stay upbeat. You keep people laughing. And I know I lost my mom as well, so it was hard for me to do that. But someone like you, right, it's everything. I love it.
And that was the other thing, because you said 6 years ago, right? Was it
6 years ago, right? Mm-hmm.
6 years ago. So 6 years, and that's the important thing as well. You know what? It's one thing to be heard, but it's another thing to be listened to. And I think that's real important with regard to blogging. And you listened and you heard Wendy, actually, as she went through her, I guess, a mini testimony as well as informative. We talked amongst family and tried to figure out how we were to roll out the passing of my mom to the people. Really and truly, people pass away all the time, and you just don't know. I
Right.
mean, the friends of the family would know, and the people who stay in communication with the family would know. So but everybody's stance is different. She felt necessity of informing the studio audience and the world, I guess, because my mom and dad have been on the show numerous times, and they've gotten much love. And a lot of times you get that impression. It could be a false impression, but you know what? I get comfort, and I can understand what Wendy did, because you know what? You get a feeling. You can't just continuously see and talk to people, whether the audience changes and shifts, or a studio audience is filled with women, and then next day it's filled with men, or whatever's going on. They're your audience. They're the people that are listening to you. They're the people that, and that's why people say, you're the voice in my head. I get it. And in such a small amount of time. But the misconception, I think, that people had was that Wendy was aloof as to when her mother or when our mother passed. And the thing that really gravitated me towards you was that, you had the humanistic approach, saying, you know what, hey, she could say many, 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 many weeks ago, but you know what, that's still her mom passing. And that could be a coping mechanism for how she deals with the loss of her mom. And
Right.
then I'm on the other side saying, as I'm talking, and I'm like, man, my mom passed away last weekend. Jeez, I don't have a whole big studio audience that I deal with all the time. I don't do the audio visual and the stuff like that. And maybe, you know what? And I'm not Wendy. I'm Tommy.
Right.
So you know what? That's just my thing. And that wasn't even my coping skill. What my coping skill was, I was amazed, because at first, I'll be honest, I was like, why does Wendy have to tell anybody? Why don't we just keep this, and just, not keep it moving, but, I mean, is it necessary to shout on the hilltops and let everybody know what's going on? Because it's going to bring in questions and everything else. I mean, you put it out, you're going to bring in more, So, but then I found myself with my little audience of people saying the same thing. It was like, you know what it is? You feel comfortable and stuff. And also to just put it out there, it's like anointing yourself, you just want to kind of cleanse yourself. I don't want to bottle. It's almost like me screaming and saying, no, mommy, why? But instead of doing that, which I haven't done, and I'm waiting for it to happen, but when the earth shakes, I finally got it out, folks, but it just hasn't happened yet. At any rate, so that's how that goes. How has blogging changed since the pandemic?
Blogging has changed because my kids are here now. So they used to go to school. Now, on top of being a blogger, I'm homeschooling my kids. And it's stuff that I have no idea. I have a child in high school, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You're bringing me this math, and I'm a teacher now. And not only that, I'm the school lunch cook. So I'm doing everything, stuff that they used to go off to school and do. I'm doing everything, and I'm not getting paid for this. They're my kids. I love them. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, I didn't go to school for teaching. I'm not good at it. So it's different. It's a different life now. We're all just coping, going to the store, wearing a mask. Us women, we wear, makeup, taking that mask off, and half your face is gone with the mask. Like it's just so different.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
I said, it happened in March, and I said, okay, by the summertime, it's going to heat up, it's going to go away. Then I said, you know what, by my birthday in December, it's going to go away. I don't know when it's going away. It seems like the new life right now that we're going to live in, and we're just all getting used to it. We're all getting used to it.
Yeah, that's true. Now I was thinking earlier, I said, geez, because I know you also do the exclusives and things like that. So when you or even from exclusives, like the interviews, to the hovering and gathering information as you see it, do you think that do you see any type of shift in the mental health of people, and like the influx of more drama taking place now that the pandemic has hit?
Honestly, when the pandemic first hit, I had absolutely nothing to blog about. You know why? Because everyone was at home doing what they were supposed to do and staying out of trouble. And I was almost like, wow, what
Oh,
am I going to do? I sat there for weeks
wow,
and
interesting.
nobody. nobody was getting into anything at all.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that was
yeah.
different. When you allow
Hmm.
people to get out and do whatever they need to do, they're not always going to act right. And that gives
Yeah,
me something to talk about. So I want
sure,
to say for
sure.
the first few weeks, nothing happened. It was all pandemic, pandemic, pandemic. And I got tired of talking about that. So yeah, it was pretty bad. As soon as they
Wow.
gave people a little leeway and got them out a little bit, oh, they was acting crazy.
They were acting
They
crazy.
were
Wow,
acting
wow.
crazy. Yeah, they were
That's
acting crazy.
interesting.
So we had something to talk about again. But yeah, it
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
the first few weeks, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was like, is anybody gonna do anything?
Okay.
It was nothing.
How about how about married Hollywood? You know, Hollywooders who are married. Did anything kick off? Did anything like shift with marriages, or you found out some funkiness going on around there?
No, I want to say probably
No.
the most exciting thing this year would have probably been the entanglement with Jada Pinkett, Will Smith, and August Alsina. Other than that,
Wow.
everyone was on their best behavior.
Isn't that something and amazing? And
First time in a long
I'm so proud of America and the world.
time. First time in a
Wow.
very long time. But
Well,
honestly, I was proud of America too, because
yeah,
sometimes this can be draining. This life can be draining, you know,
sure.
and
Yeah.
like even after I do my videos, I have to bathe and shower and all of that just to kind of get all of that off of me, you know. So yeah, I was actually proud of America and everyone in it for a while. Let's just sit at home, sit with our kids and our wives and husbands and do what you have to do for a while. Do what you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I know the divorce rate went up. I think a lot of people were not used to being in the home with their spouses like that. And
Absolutely.
honestly, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely, because exactly, I was saying the same thing the last segment because my wife and I, we both had COVID at the same time, and so we were at home quarantining, and prior to that, it was like, home, a lot of places were closed down, and we were affected, and then so we were home, so a big shift. I mean, a lot of mental health going on. It's amazing how there's that you didn't see that the relationships and stuff start to buckle and things. Maybe there's things people just didn't play things out. I guess like you said, people are on their best behavior or are more
Right.
conscious. I think, well, one thing I do believe is that with quarantining and spending more time to yourself, you find out how to calculate your moves, and you
Mm-hmm.
become more introspective
In tune.
on how you move forward and in
Right.
tune. So,
Yeah.
so I think the people had a chance to figure out how to move safely, especially around the media in this time. So
Now,
hopefully
how was
not too
that
safe,
being
but we want you to stay.
quarantined with your wife and both of you were sick at the same time? Because one can't really help the other. How was that?
I know, I know. Well, it's crazy. Well, what for quarantine? Well, we know we have we both had it. So it was like I guess there was an infected spoon touch stirring the meal, and there was infected mouth eating the food. So we were all like infected, but at the same time, it was like boxers going back to our corner at the end. We were going to the
Okay.
kitchen, eat, and do whatever we're doing, go back and take our food, into our neutral zones, and then but it was definitely some commingling involved with germs and stuff like that. I mean, you can't get away from it. Germs are so small,
Yeah.
which is so oh, I meant to ask Stephen. So, what do you think about this new antidote or the vaccine? Yeah.
I'm not with it. I don't want to be a test dummy. We're gonna let it go ahead and get out to who it needs to get out to, but unfortunately, I will not be taking it. What about you? Not me.
Yeah,
It's not for
I
me.
agree. I just want to see how many ears people grow and what goes on and what happens, and then we'll see from there, so
Yeah,
at least get, several million in, and then,
yeah.
we'll go from there. But, I really, these doctors have been working in these lab, these researchers have been, working hard and, hopefully putting the right ingredients in to make a special formula. But, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I
I
think
know,
the first batch of anything is always going to be bugs in it, and I don't want any of those bugs
yeah,
in me.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
going to let
true.
everyone else test that out, but unfortunately, me and my kids, we will not be taking that. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, fantastic. Well, um, I know that you are continuously working, and we have some projects that we're going to be working on in the near future as well. Other people definitely follow you and then understand, that you're out there and you give some great information. It's informative too, folks. Education's all around us. So I mean, I have much respect for bloggers now. I never knew what a blogger was. Yeah, I didn't know if it started with a B or a V or vlogger. Are there bloggers?
On video it's vlogging, and then if you're just kind of doing voiceover, then it's blogging. So
okay, so see, folks, you learn all the time. But you know what, I want to make sure that that you do follow Chronicle Speaks. She has a wonderful platform. I think it's a space that, it's like the curb. If you walk sliding, dragging your feet, you're gonna hit the curb and stub your toe.
Right.
So watch your step.
Right.
Watch your step, folks. I know I am definitely at least 4 words ahead. You want to stay. So it's so nice that you've been on my social media. I think that's super. And I think that we definitely have established good relations and things. And I encourage everybody to follow Chronicle Speaks. Chronicle Speaks. Why don't you go ahead and let them know how to find you once more?
So it's Chronicle Speaks. I am on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So it's Chronicle Speaks, and that's it. CHRONICLE, and the word speaks, SPEAKS.
Fantastic. Well, it's so great having you on.
Thank you so much, Tommy. I really enjoy watching you. You uplifted me so many times. Just in the middle of the night, I can just turn on your YouTube, and you've uplifted me. So I really appreciate that.
That's super. That's definitely, makes me want to get on there tonight. So I know last night I was falling asleep on the thing, and then I get up at like 5:30 in the morning and run 5.2 miles. And something that Stephen also said was after COVID, he felt stronger. And I think that it gives you like that whole, it makes you say, I'm back, and I have to work doubly hard to try to get myself back on track. So, for those folks who are watching, because I'm going to get ready to close things out, I want to make sure that if you do happen to get to contract COVID, it's not the end of the world. Follow the guidelines, do what you need to do, and take your medications or take your medicine to fight the symptoms, because you can't virus, so you fight the symptoms. And then, lead with faith. Have some hope. You want to make sure that, you definitely have some sort of higher power that you could just say, you know what, I'm going to get through this thing, or help me get through this thing. And then when you get on the other side, you know what, you feel great. You feel great. You feel like I've conquered something that has no boundaries. It's not prejudiced to anybody. It came in me like a monster. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, but you know what? I got through it. And for that, I'm going to get even better and stronger, because you really don't know what the perfect formula is to thwart this thing off or combat it. So the best thing you could do is eat your vegetables, run a couple of laps, get your sleep, and drink plenty of water. So listen, everybody, I thank you very much, Chronicle Speaks, for coming on. Thank you for sharing with me and sharing with everybody. Thank you so much for following me as I do you. And take care, and God bless you.
Thank you. You too. See you later.
Chronicle Speaks, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So thank you so much, everybody. I believe this is episode number, well, don't get me started, because I'm not good with that. But I will tell you this. We are moving forward into the light, into the stratosphere, everybody. A super show is what we had tonight. Just to recap, or day, depending on where you are and what time this is airing in your area. We had Stephen. Stephen was very, very informative about what happens with him and how he's dealing with COVID, or the pandemic, and how he dealt with COVID when he did have it. Also, we met a blogger, and Chronicle Speaks, and she was super fantastic. And also, she shared a lot of information on the blogging world, the media world, and how things have shifted. So nobody's unscathed with how they're affected with this pandemic. We're all dealing with something, a shift in some capacity. And I want to thank you all for joining in. Next time, I'm hoping to have, I know I made mention to a long hauler. I'd like to have a long hauler come on. I know just who to call on, and we've been having conversations. So look forward to that conversation, as well as a mental health specialist. I know I told you last show that I was going to have mental health coming on this show, but I'm going to try to space things out. and look forward to some mental health professional come on next time. So thank you so much for joining and watching the Tommy Williams Show, and take care. God bless. Stay safe, mask up. See you next time.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong. Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance. Cognitive function. Powerful liver support. Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
One of your best defenses against COVID is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the marketplace.